These guys are ridiculous. These guys are ridiculous.
Now, how about them damn Celtics?
There you go. Pritchard has been, as weird as this is to say, the best offensive rebounder the Celtics have. First of all, completely changed the course of that Thunder game alongside Derek White. Marcus Smart gave both of them the credit. I just said Derek White like Stewie Griffin would have said it by accident.
That's how Gorman says it.
Yeah, Derek White. Pritchard's been great. I know we touched on him earlier, talking about how he doesn't really have a path to regular rotational minutes.
It sucks.
It does suck, but I will say, if Payton Pritchard keeps playing like this, it will become increasingly harder not to find a spot for him in the rotation. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying he's better than Brogdon, better than White, better than Smart, but finding minutes for him will become less of, we just can't really do it, and more of, all right, we kind of have to do it. He's been the spark that has won them the Nuggets game, I would argue, even though they were in control. Like, he was a big spark in that game. He was, I would say, the main reason they were able to come back in that Thunder game. He played all right against the Pistons, but he's been a very much needed spark off the bench for the Celtics through a couple games where they looked really sluggish, and I think that's important. And like I said, I think it'll be hard for Joe Mazzulla to keep him out of the rotation for much longer, even when Brogdon comes back.
See, I think it's hard, but like there's just no room unless Hauser falls off a cliff, which he's trying.
See, he's not been great since we hyped him up. I'll say that.
But even then, like, Pritchard doesn't have the size to defend like Hauser does.
Yeah.
Like, at least you can put Hauser out there and rely on him to defend. But one thing Pritchard does that Hauser doesn't do is create. He can shoot off the dribble, get to the basket. We saw him play well in the playoffs last season.
Mm-hmm.
I feel terribly for Payton Pritchard because he's doing everything right. You said he's the best offensive rebounder on the team. He's playing his ass off. He's working really hard, trying to do anything he can. Just look at the play at the end of the third quarter yesterday where he was up pressing, stole the ball, and laid it in to beat the buzzer. I mean, where is he going to find minutes, though? That's such a like kick in the nuts because he's done everything you could ask. And throughout his career, he's always been solid. There's never been a time where you could really be like, wow, this guy sucks, except maybe the finals. But like you could say that for everybody.
Yeah.
Just about everybody on the team was bad in the finals. So
it's tough.
You're going to end up seeing the Celtics trade him unless catastrophe injury happens, which you don't want to see. I don't know if they're going to trade him this season. They very well might not because the extension or pickup of the option, whatever it was, to where he'll make more money next year. And you can trade him and get more value back with a more lucrative contract, whatever. They can match bigger money. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
but it's
I
just
agree.
horrible, man. Like,
it sucks.
He led them back partly on Monday against the Thunder. He was a big spark there. Played excellent in the Nuggets game. Like you said, again, was a spark hitting the offensive glass. He deserves better than sitting on the end of the bench. He does. He's proven he's an NBA player throughout his whole career. I already said it. He's fine. It just sucks. They have probably the most stacked guard rotation in the league, and he just happens to be behind it.
Yeah, and that's why I said I think it'll be harder for Mazzulla to keep him out of the rotation because as great as Brogdon is, as great as White is, as obviously great as Marcus Smart is and has been this season, which we'll talk about, you need the spark. And if the Celtics are sluggish one day, you throw Payton Pritchard in and he gives you the spark. And he was hitting big shots against the Thunder too. Obviously he had that big step back at the end of the shot clock, deep from three, and you know he can pull those. I don't even know if Sam Hauser can hit those type of threes. I assume he can, but that's like Pritchard's specialty. He hits from deep. So yeah, we'll see what happens with him. Like you said, it sucks and they might end up trading him, but there's only so much you can do.
He's going to end up somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody's going to someone's going to pay for him. He's a good player. He's good enough. He could be a backup on a lot of teams. The Lakers would kill for somebody like him right now. Yeah. Orlando would kill for somebody like him. Minnesota.
100%. Couldn't agree more. I think you're totally right. It sucks. It is what it is right now.
But, I wonder where else could trade for him realistically. Like what I went through and I did Minnesota and Orlando. I don't think the Celtics would deal him to LA. I just don't think they would try and help the Lakers. I don't know, man.
I don't think the Lakers have anybody that
too. I mean, Houston maybe would want him.
I mean, you look at teams that need shooting excuse me, could potentially need guard play. The Clippers, maybe.
Yeah.
John Wall, Reggie Jackson, but still. The Wizards might actually have a use for him in the guard rotation for some extra shooting. The Raptors could use an extra guard behind Van Vliet. Maybe you trade him for Kem Birch to get an extra center, but that's obviously not the sexiest of trades if you're the Celtics. I feel like Celtics fans might not be too happy with that. Past that, though, there just aren't a lot of teams that could give the Celtics something they need for Pritchard. I mean, there's the Vanderbilt trade with Utah, but I don't think they're going to trade Vanderbilt.
Vanderbilt. I liked
He's been too good.
like you could look for Reed out of Minnesota, maybe, but like
Yeah.
he's their backup, but they
Mhm.
have Towns and Gobert who can interchange at the center position.
Yeah.
Mo Bamba was a name that I threw out there, but the money doesn't work. You'd have to throw in Gallinari.
And
But the
he's
reason is
been
because Bol Bol's
rough.
like actually playing well enough to
Yeah.
keep him out of the rotation.
Yeah. Bamba's also, he's just been rough for the past couple of years. And
Mm.
I mean, Bol Bol's been good, but if Bol Bol's taking your rotation spot on the Magic, it's probably a bit telling. Yeah, we'll see what happens with Pritchard. It sucks, but the way the business goes, I suppose.
Tic-taco. Come on.
Tackles.
Taco.